Howdy folks, I'm Brian and here's some Reddit. This feels like deja vu. It's almost like I recorded it before. Am I the jerk for making myself nice meals and not my husband? So I'll preface this by saying that my husband and I have vastly different tastes in basically everything. For the most part, it doesn't matter, but we clash heavily when it comes to food. Before we met, I basically never ate out, drank nothing but water and unsweet tea with the occasional juice, and ate mostly vegetarian. Always pretty healthy meals. When we started dating, I started eating out a lot more because that's what he always wanted to do, and honestly, I'm easily influenced. I learned pretty quickly that he doesn't like anything that includes anything other than a variation on meat, cheese, and starch. Rice, bread, pasta, and potatoes. Not a single vegetable other than corn. No dairy except for butter. No fruits, no grains, nothing. He also hates a majority of seasonings. I ended up adapting my cooking to his taste, occasionally making myself healthy sides, but it bothered him so much that I mostly stopped. I tried to at least have healthy lunches or choose healthier options when eating out, which was still fairly regularly. Eventually, we had a daughter, and now that she's getting old enough to eat with us, I'm pretty much done with how we eat. I don't like eating like this. I've gained weight and I feel out of shape. My body feels awful. I don't want our daughter to grow up not eating anything healthy and substantial, so I stopped agreeing to fast food and made him only get it for himself and started cooking nice meals again, which he of course hates. I've begged him to at least try and find something remotely healthy that he likes eating. Quite frankly, my food doesn't even taste healthy. Our friends and family rave about how delicious it is, even with stuff they normally don't like in it. It really shouldn't be that hard, but he refuses. So I told him he can make his own meals if he doesn't like ours, that I'm tired of eating unhealthy all the time. He accepted this at first, but he's gradually getting more and more upset about it. He says it's not fair that we have these nice meals and he's stuck eating junk. I told him he's free to join us, and what he's making himself is literally the same thing I'd make for him, except minus the fancier things, and that I'd be still willing to make some of the fancier ones, just not so often. But he says it's not the same, and he wants nice healthy meals like ours, and it's not fair that he's being excluded. I told him that unless he's willing to let spices and vegetables into his meals, I literally can't make him nice healthy meals like ours. There's only so many ways you can make a meal with just meat and starch, and you can only make it so healthy. Now he's pouting because he says it's not fair that he's the only one who doesn't get good food, and that I could at least try and include him, and I'm being a jerk for not trying. I think he's being ridiculous to expect the same type of food that we eat without me putting in literally any of the ingredients. Am I the jerk? Alright, OP, I don't think that you're the jerk here, and here's why. You have given him plenty of compromises. You've told him that you want to be able to provide him with certain foods and that you would be willing to even make the foods that he likes just less often, but he's refusing, and he's refusing because I don't know that he's actually interested in eating healthy. He just wants to eat the way he wants to eat. And I mean, the part that kind of stands out to me the most is when you were trying to eat healthy sides, and then he was like, oh, hey, can you stop eating healthy sides because it makes me uncomfortable? I don't know. Like, it just doesn't make any sense, and he feels affronted, it seems like, by healthy food and healthy options. So no, I don't think that you're a jerk here. I think that you're trying to teach your daughter good, healthy eating habits, and I think that your husband, if he really wants food that's cooked for him, then he either one needs to cook it himself, like what you've told him to, or two, he needs to start, eating, some of the other things here. Now, one thing I might recommend is that maybe you could start off with fewer spices and kind of help acclimatize his palate to more, complex type things, because if he's not used to it, then it might just be really hard for him to kind of start off. So you might try and make some of these dishes a little more mild for him, a little less spicy, and that might really help him grow to kind of appreciate these foods. And then you can gradually kind of increase the spices. So that might be one of the options here. Alternatively, you can just hand them an empty plate and be like, here's your meal with all the stuff you excluded from here that you don't like. Picky eaters are hard sometimes, and that's not to say that sometimes it just is difficult for people to go outside of their comfort zone when they're convinced they don't like something. And this probably is happening with your husband. He thinks he doesn't like the food, and he's convinced himself hard enough that he doesn't like it, that he's not willing to try any kind of additional things. So I would just keep being patient with him and just kind of explain to him that you can't make him the meals that he wants. Not the jerk, his real complaint is that he's being excluded, which I suspect is actually a combination of resentment for having to cook for himself and resentment that you are implicitly teaching your kid that the way he eats is bad. Like, look at what you wrote. He was only okay with things when you completely adopted his way of cooking. Even making yourself healthy sides bothered him to the point where you had to stop doing it. You've given him option after option after option in terms of compromises, but the only thing he actually wants is total capitulation to his preferences. You shouldn't feel bad about what you're doing, and certainly you shouldn't give into his pity party. Yeah. Alright, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Sending Semi-Nudes to an Artist? I am currently trying to improve my self-esteem. I have past traumas that have left me with mental health and body image issues. I am currently having therapy. So, my significant other, a 39-year-old male, and I, a 38-year-old female, met online and are in a long-distance relationship. We've been together for nearly a year now. He has been a huge supporter in my life, and with his help, I have made big steps in recovery during our time together. I recently took some semi-naked boudoir-style selfies in an attempt to become more comfortable in my skin. They were just for me, but I felt proud considering just a year ago I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. So I decided to share them with him. He asked for me for nude photos many times, but I had refused because of my confidence issues. Once I had sent the photos, I gave him a hard time. Like, I said, I expect that you'll leave me now, laugh at me, etc. I guess because I felt very vulnerable, although it had been my own choice to send them. Meanwhile, I've been following an artist on social media who specializes in self-love and self-confidence. The art is beautiful, and I decided it might be nice to have one of these photos made into a sketch to keep acknowledging my progress. I sent the same photo I had sent my significant other, although I blurred out a part of one photo as I was in a provocative pose. It was a professional business transaction. The sketches arrived and I was pleased with the outcome. I had hoped to share them with him for Valentine's Day, so I hadn't told him that I was doing this. Also, if they had turned out badly, I didn't want the shame of him asking to see them. Today, I decided to share them with him because I was nervous and excited and I couldn't wait. I told him that I had some art of me to show him and I sent them to him. He was silent. I could tell he wasn't happy. I showed him the full DMs. He skimmed and read and said he just saw the hearts and wouldn't read any more. The hearts were just messages that had been liked. I explained that it wasn't adult in nature, and I sent articles from various websites explaining how many women find nude and semi-nude photos and art empowering and healing after trauma. He told me that I gave him heck when I sent him photos, yet willingly sent them to someone else who may distribute them or use them inappropriately, and that the photos should have just been between the two of us. They will not share the original photos, and that would be very illegal due to the laws here. I explained this again and the purpose, and I was sorry if I caused upset, and I asked him to read the articles I had sent. After maybe 15 minutes of silence, with him doing other things and ignoring me, I asked that he call me back when he wanted to talk, that I loved him and looked forward to hearing from him when he's ready. This was many hours ago, and I've not heard from him. I'm now worried that he has taken it so badly that it will ruin our relationship. My actions were not intended to hurt him, and I love him dearly, and the thought of losing him is tearing me up. Am I the jerk for sending photos to the artist? Should I have checked with my significant other first? Update. I wanted to thank everyone who replied to my post because every response gave me perspective, so thank you. Some hours later, after I posted, he called and we talked. Thanks to the responses on this post, I was able to address some of the points which I might not have been able to otherwise. We are going to be just fine and everything is back on track. I've concluded that it's a bit everyone is a jerk here due to miscommunications and misunderstandings on both sides, none of which were intentional. Alright, OP, I don't actually think that you're a jerk here. What you're trying to do here is you're trying to become more comfortable in yourself, and you were trying to do something nice for your boyfriend. I think where he probably is coming from is a place of concern, like he's afraid that these photos are going to get spread around or that they're going to be used inappropriately. That's a misplaced worry of his. Like, this was a professional transaction, like you said, and none of that kind of stuff is going to happen. I think probably what upsets him the most from this is that it took you so long to give him nudes, and then it seems like you just turn around and send them to a complete stranger. And I think that probably was what basically caused his strife here, or caused him to be upset. But, like, there's nothing to say that the process of doing this, sending them to him, is what helped you to inspire. You know, you say it helped you to do this. It was inspiring to you. You felt like your pictures were good. You felt like you really enjoyed them, and it gave you the kind of confidence that you needed to have them turned into an art. So in a lot of ways, I can understand somewhat where he's coming from in this point of view, but I think he overreacted here. And I think what you were trying to do was a nice, kind gesture. You weren't sending nudes to someone else in the form of like cheating or being deceptive. And in the end, you were showing them to him anyways. So yeah, I don't think that you're a jerk here. And I just, like you said, I think that this is more or less miscommunications. So I'm really happy to hear that there's a happy ending here. Not the jerk, he doesn't own you or your body, and you are free to do with it as you please. Is he going to freak out if you post a picture in the bikini? If you feel like the relationship is salvageable, I would explain to him that you were initially nervous before sending him the photos, but after sending them to your significant other, you were more confident, and it gave you the confidence to send them. But if he continues to give you a hard time, I would throw out the whole man. And OP replies, my goodness, you just made me realize it was his reaction that gave me the confidence to feel that I could go and get them drawn. Extremely useful for my thought process. Thank you. Our final letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Buying My Daughter, a 13-year-old female, the wrong phone? My daughter is a 13-year-old female, and she had an iPhone 10 that she bought with her own money from doing things like chores, babysitting cousins, and mowing the neighbor's lawn. It was about $400 USD. I checked her social media on it once a month so that I would know she wasn't doing anything bad on her phone, and she is fine with this and doesn't complain about it because she has nothing to hide. She gave her phone to me while I was in the bathroom getting ready for bed, and I dropped it in the toilet and it broke. Our bathroom is laid out so that the toilet is by the door, and I dropped it in when I was going into my room. I told her this news, and she asked if I could buy her a new one, and I searched the prices, but all of them were used. Instead of the 10, I decided to buy her the SE because it's new and it's the same price. My daughter got very upset and asked if I could buy her the 10 and said I wasn't comfortable with that because there's a pandemic and buying used is unsanitary. Alright, OP, I'm going to first address the unsanitary part. If you are worried about something being mailed to you, then quarantine it for an extended period of time. If you keep it unopened for like 5 days, then you probably have nothing to worry about. Then you can open it up, sanitize it, and everything is going to be fine. The virus isn't going to be able to survive on surfaces for more than, a handful of hours. And so 5 days is plenty of time to basically kill it from any surface or neutralize it. So if this is the phone that your daughter really wants, then it may be good to go ahead and get her it. It sounds like you bought her another phone, the SE, for $400. And so I don't actually know much about the different types of Apple phones, So I don't know if this is like a newer version, an upgrade, or if this is basically a downgrade. So here's the issue is if this is a downgrade, then you are a jerk because you need to provide her with something that's equal or better because, honestly, she spent her money on this. She worked hard to get it, and she deserves to get something of equal value to what she spent. And I think that any reasonable person is going to say, well, I want something basically of equal or better value than what I spent my money on. And I think, with this being a used phone, if there's a used phone that you can get for cheaper, then this might even be a better deal for you. Take care and good luck. You're the jerk. She bought it with her own money that she worked hard for and saved up for. That's honestly an amazing thing to do at such a young age. You broke it. It doesn't matter if it was an accident or not. You need to replace the phone as it was, the exact phone. Pandemic or not, just make sure you clean the phone properly when it arrives. Do you feel the same way about buying groceries or anything else right now? Do you think that you have been completely untouched? Where is the broken phone now? Could you not get it fixed? You're the jerk. If you broke it, then you replace it, regardless of the cost. Don't take advantage of the situation because you're an adult. If you don't want to buy used, then buy new. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. If you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching. Yeah, today I guess I had some technical issues. Sometimes what'll happen is if I don't plug my microphone in, the program that I use to record my screen will freak out and it won't save anything. And so basically that happened today. I forgot to plug my microphone in, and so I lost my original footage. But we got it done anyways, and here's a video for you. I really do hope that you're enjoying these. I enjoy reading people's comments. Thanks so much for all the likes, and thanks so much for all the recent subscribers. I've really appreciated seeing people subscribe to this channel. It gives me a lot of motivation to keep making these videos and to keep producing content for you. So again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.